Okay, picture this. You're perched on the edge of a volcanic crater. These whitewashed villages just cascading down the cliffs like fresh snow, and the Aegean Sea is shimmering this brilliant blue all around you.
Mm-hmm.
And then the sunset hits. Just this legendary explosion of color. We're diving deep into Santorini today.
Yeah.
But, what is it about this place that goes beyond just those, breathtaking views?
Well, what's really captivating about Santorini, I think, is that its beauty has this incredible backstory. It was forged by a massive volcanic eruption thousands of years ago,
Right.
around 3,600 years back, give or take. And that dramatic event didn't just shape the landscape, it really defines its whole character.
Mm-hmm.
Think of the Caldera itself as this giant collapsed volcanic crater now holding the sea.
Exactly. And those villages clinging to the rim, Oia, Fira, Imrovigili, Stefani, with those sugar cube houses and the iconic blue domes. Yeah. It's almost surreal, like walking onto a movie set, really.
It is. It's a dreamlike aesthetic. And it's also pretty ingenious, actually. The architecture, often using those cave houses, wasn't just about style.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was a clever way to deal with the island's climate. They naturally stay cool in summer and keep warmth during winter.
Smart.
Yeah. And those sunsets, they're less something you just watch passively and more like a shared experience, a nightly ritual that feels, genuinely magical.
It definitely screams romance, doesn't it? You always hear about honeymooners flocking there. But is that kind of the whole story?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture,
yeah.
Yes, Santorini absolutely has that romantic pull and the high-end luxury side too. But if you scratch beneath the surface a bit, you find this much richer tapestry of experiences. We're talking ancient history, unique volcanic beaches, a really fascinating wine culture. It's an island with layers, lots to discover.
Okay, let's start peeling back some of those layers then. If you're making the trip, what are the absolute must-do experiences, the things that really capture the essence of Santorini?
A Caldera cruise. Without a doubt. It offers a perspective you just can't get from land.
Right. Being out on the water.
Exactly. It gives you this incredible panoramic view of the cliffside villages. Plus, you get the chance to soak in volcanic hot springs, swim in that deep blue Aegean water. And a sunset cruise. Well, that's the iconic view, just amplified.
Oh, sounds pretty idyllic. What about exploring on foot? I keep hearing about a fantastic hike.
Ah, yes. The hike from Fira to Oia. It's a spectacular way to just immerse yourself in the Caldera's grandeur.
How long does that take?
It's about a 2-3 hour walk, mostly accessible, and the views are just consistently breathtaking. Plus, it's free, which is always a bonus when you're traveling.
Perfect for burning off some gyros. Okay, what other explorations should be on the list?
Just wandering through the villages themselves is essential. Each one has its own distinct vibe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, from the lively buzz of Fira to the serene beauty of Imrovigili. They often call that the balcony of the Aegean. Just get lost in those winding streets, stumble upon hidden boutiques, charming little cafes. That's part of the fun.
Now, Santorini beaches. I know they're not your typical white sands. What's the story there?
Exactly. Thanks to its volcanic past, Santorini has these incredibly unique beaches. Red Beach, with its striking red sand cliffs, is quite a sight.
Wow, red sand.
Yeah. And then you have the black pebble beaches of Parisa and Perivolos. They offer a really distinctive beach experience, a far cry from your usual tropical postcard.
And I've heard the volcanic soil does something special for the local grapes, too. Wine.
It certainly does. Santorini has a really interesting winemaking tradition, all thanks to that mineral-rich volcanic soil, the terroir.
Mm-hmm.
The Assyrtiko grape thrives here. It produces this crisp, distinctive white wine that's unlike anything else, really. Visiting a local winery is a fantastic way to learn about this process and, of course, sample some delicious results, often with stunning vineyard views.
Nice. And for anyone interested in maybe a bit of history?
Absolutely. Akrotiri, often called the Pompeii of the Aegean, it's this fascinating Minoan city.
Ah, right.
Yeah, remarkably preserved by the same volcanic eruption that shaped the island. Walking through its ancient streets gives you this incredible glimpse into the past. It's quite something.
That sounds amazing.
And then there's ancient Thera, which is perched high up on a mountain, offers more historical insights and, again, those panoramic views.
All that exploring is bound to lead to some serious hunger.
Yeah.
Let's talk food. What are the culinary must-tries in Santorini?
Well, fried seafood is pretty much a given, being an island. Think succulent grilled octopus, perfectly crispy calamari. You really can't go wrong there.
Classic.
Definitely. But make sure you also seek out some of the unique local specialties.
Okay, tell me more.
Fava. It's this creamy, delicious puree made from yellow split peas. It's a real staple of Santorini cuisine, an island classic.
Yeah, but I got it.
And you absolutely have to try the tomato keftides. They're these crispy, flavorful fritters made from the island's incredibly sweet and intensely flavored cherry tomatoes.
The tomatoes again?
Yes, another gift from that volcanic soil. They are truly irresistible. And of course, you'll find all the classic Greek dishes you know and love. Greek salad, moussaka, souvlaki, all done incredibly well. The dining scene ranges from charming, family-run tavernas to more upscale restaurants. Many, of course, boasting those iconic Caldera views.
Okay, let's talk about where we might rest our heads after a long day of exploring and eating all that amazing food. What are the different types of accommodation and what kind of budget should we have in mind?
Accommodation in Santorini really runs the gamut. If you're looking to keep costs down, consider areas like Parisa, Perivolos, Kamares, or even parts of Fira that aren't directly facing the caldera.
Sure.
You can find rooms starting in the range of, say, $40 to $100 USD per night, roughly. Maybe even less in the low season, like 40, 60 euros perhaps. Even high season, you might find something for 70, 100 euros if you look hard.
And what if we're looking for something a bit more mid-range? Not budget, but not breaking the bank either?
Right. In villages like Fira, Stefani, and Immeravigli, if you opt for a room without that direct or full caldera view, or maybe just a partial view, you'll likely be looking at prices in a $150 to $350 USD per night range, give or take.
And for that, quintessential Santorini experience, the plunge pool, looking out over the caldera, the dream picture.
Yes. For the ultimate in luxury, particularly in Oia and Immeravigli, with those coveted caldera views and maybe a private infinity pool, well, you can expect to pay upwards of $400 USD per night.
Wow.
Easily reaching $1,000 and honestly way beyond for the most exclusive properties. Thousands sometimes.
So the view is really the key factor.
Absolutely. The location, specifically that caldera view, is the biggest factor driving up prices. That and the time of year, of course. Peak season sees a huge surge. Booking well in advance is crucial, absolutely crucial, especially for July and August.
Right. Makes sense. Okay, so we figured out how to get there, hypothetically. Seen the sights, eaten the food, found our perfect place to stay. How do we actually get around Santorini once we're on the island?
Well, most people arrive either by ferry from Athens or other islands. That journey can take anywhere from 4 to 8 hours, depending on the ferry type. Cost starts around 45 euros or so.
Okay.
Or you can fly in. It's a quick 45-minute flight from Athens, sometimes pretty cheap if you book ahead, maybe 30 euros plus.
And booking ahead is key. Highly recommended for both, especially during peak season. Now, the ferry port, Athenios, can be quite chaotic, just a heads up.
Good to know.
So pre-arranging a shuttle or transfer to your accommodation is a smart move, or coordinating with your hotel. Taxis are limited and can be pricey right at the port.
What about public transport from the port or airport?
Public buses are the most economical option. They connect the port and airport to Fira, the main town, but they operate on a cash-only basis, so make sure you have some euros.
Okay. And once we're settled, how do we travel between towns?
The public bus system, KTLO, is generally pretty reliable and affordable for getting between the main villages. Fira acts as the central hub. You usually have to change buses there.
How much does that cost? A single trip is typically around 2 to 2.50 EUR. You can find schedules at the main station in Fira. Just be prepared for them to get crowded, especially during peak times.
What about other options?
Yeah.
ATVs.
Yes. ATVs and quad bikes are super popular for exploring at your own pace. They offer a lot of freedom, but safety is paramount. You really need to exercise caution on those roads. Also, Americans should know you officially need an international driver's permit to rent one.
Right, and cost.
Rental costs vary, maybe 20 euros in low season, up to 40 or more in high season, roughly $30 to $60 USD per day, maybe.
Okay. Taxis, rental cars.
Taxis are available, but there aren't that many, and they tend to be more expensive. Renting a car can be a good option if you plan to explore quieter areas or need more flexibility than the bus offers.
And just walking.
Within the villages themselves, especially Oia and Fira, walking is absolutely the best way to discover their charm, but be prepared for a lot of steps. Very pedestrianized in the core areas.
Comfortable shoes are a must then. Okay, this all sounds fantastic, but let's get down to brass tacks. What kind of daily budget should people realistically be planning for a trip to Santorini? Is it going to completely empty the wallet?
Well, look, Santorini is generally considered to be on the pricier side compared to many other Greek islands. There's no getting around that.
Right.
But it depends on your travel style. If you're a budget-conscious traveler, You might aim for around, say, 80 to 150 USD per day. That means focusing on hostels or budget guest houses, using the bus system, eating at local tavernas, maybe grabbing some street food like gyros for under €5. Someone mentioned a couple spent just over $530 for 3 nights, including everything, so it's doable.
Okay, that's encouraging for budget folks. What about mid-range?
For a mid-range experience, maybe a more comfortable hotel, perhaps a tour or two, some nicer meals out, you might budget somewhere in the $200 to $400 USD per day range.
And for the luxury traveler? Living the dream.
Yeah, for a luxury trip with that Caldera view accommodation we talked about, fine dining, private tours, you could easily spend $500 USD or significantly more per day.
So just to recap, what are the main things that really drive up the cost?
The biggest expense is, without a doubt, that Caldera view accommodation. It comes at a serious premium.
Got it.
After that, flights or ferries, especially in high season, dining at restaurants with those prime views, and any organized tours, cruises, or activities will add up significantly too.
Any insider tips for saving a few euros here and there? How can you do Santorini without, taking out a second mortgage?
Well, traveling during the shoulder seasons, May, June, September, October, can make a big difference in flight and accommodation prices.
Okay, shoulder season. What else?
Staying in accommodations outside of Oia and the main Fire Caldera strip will generally be more affordable. Use the public bus system. It's cheap and gets you most places. Seek out those local tavernas away from the main tourist drags for meals. Pack your own snacks and drinks for daytime exploring. Consider picnics.
Good idea.
And just be mindful of potential extra costs, like sunbed rentals on beaches. They can be 10 to 25 euros, though sometimes free if you order food or drinks. And check menus for potential service charges at restaurants.
Right, those little things add up. So when is the absolute best time to visit Santorini? To strike that perfect balance of good weather, fewer crowds, reasonable prices?
The shoulder seasons, definitely. Specifically May, June, and September, October. Those are widely considered the ideal times.
Why those months?
You get really pleasant weather, usually sunny and warm, but not scorching hot like July and August. You'll find fewer crowds compared to peak summer, and generally more reasonable prices for accommodation and flights.
Nice.
May and June offer warming sea temperatures, good for swimming. September and October often boast beautiful, clear light, the sea is still warm, and the crowds really start to thin out. Some say May and October are the absolute sweet spots.
I'm in peak season. July, August.
It's hot, very hot. It's crowded, especially in Oia and Fira, and it's the most expensive time to go. The atmosphere is lively, sure, but it can feel overwhelming at the popular spots.
What about the low season? Winter?
Low season runs roughly November to April. It's much quieter, very tranquil, but the weather is cooler, potentially rainy, and many hotels, restaurants, and tour operators will be closed, so fewer activities are available. It's a different kind of trip.
Okay, makes sense. Finally, what should visitors know about the local culture, and maybe touch on any important safety tips?
Well, the warmth and hospitality of the Greek islanders, they call it philoxenia, is something you'll likely experience firsthand. Locals are generally very welcoming and helpful.
That's great to hear.
Yeah. Orthodox Christianity plays a significant role in the culture, so you'll see lots of beautiful churches. It's respectful to dress modestly. If you plan on visiting them, cover shoulders and knees, generally.
Good tip.
And the island's volcanic history is just deeply intertwined with its culture. It influences everything from the wine they produce, the architecture, like the cave houses, even the local produce, like those amazing cherry tomatoes.
All connects back to the volcano.
Exactly. Also, the pace of life tends to be more relaxed. Embrace the siga approach slowly. Don't expect everything to happen instantly. Oh, and you might see donkey rides offered, particularly going up from the old port. It's traditional, but there are ongoing ethical concerns about animal welfare, so something to be aware of.
Right. And safety? Any major concerns?
Generally, Santorini is a very safe place. The main things are environmental. The sun is intense, especially midday in summer. So sunscreen, hats, sunglasses, stay hydrated, really important.
Okay.
Be cautious navigating all those steps and sometimes uneven surfaces, especially in the Caldera villages. Wear comfortable shoes. While crime is low, petty theft like pickpocketing can happen in crowded areas, so just be aware of your belongings like you would anywhere.
What about water? Swimming?
Tap water is generally considered safe to drink, but many visitors prefer the taste of bottled water, which is readily available. When swimming, just be aware that some areas can have strong currents, so pay attention to any warnings.
Got it. Basic common sense, mostly.
Pretty much. Respect local customs, be polite, and you'll have a wonderful time.
So, to sum it all up then, Santorini is this truly extraordinary island, literally shaped by a volcano, dotted with those iconic villages we all picture, offering incredible food, wine, history, and unique experiences.
Mm-hmm.
It's a destination that, it sounds like, can be enjoyed on various budgets if you plan carefully, and choosing the right time to visit can really enhance the whole trip.
Absolutely. Which kind of raises a final thought for you listening. Considering Santorini's dramatic landscapes, its captivating culture that we've talked about, what particular aspect of this deep dive ignites your curiosity the most? What kind of personal magic do you envision uncovering on this remarkable island?